guys know blue people actually exist? This family is famous in Kentucky for methemoglobinemia. It's a condition that turns the skin blue. And the only way it gets like this is through extreme inbreeding. The Fugate family, which is the blue family, just married each other. The main person married his aunt, and then his brother married his cousin, and then all the children married their cousins. This disease is sometimes life-threatening because the blood cells can't carry as much oxygen. The capacity is greatly reduced, and I mean, to get this disease you have to do extreme inbreeding, so I'm sure that is the least of your issues.
Seekers, welcome back to the channel, man. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. You guys know what we do here on this channel. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Want to thank the Seekers, man, who's been tapping in to the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button, man. That's how the Seekers can grow, so I really appreciate the support. Let's do what we do best, Seekers, man. Let's seek the truth.
6-year-old Missouri teacher was charged with statutory R after she was caught with one of her 16-year-old students. And it turns out that the victim's father knew this was going on the entire time. This all happened in Lakeway High School, where Haley Carmack worked as a math teacher, and she had only been there for a year until a student contacted the school's resource officer and told them that there was something weird going on between Haley and another student. The witness also said that Haley assaulted the 16-year-old boy in his family's driveway, and that the victim had scratches all over his back from Haley. And allegedly, Haley used other students as lookouts so that other teachers wouldn't come in while she was doing inappropriate things. It's also been said that Haley has been in trouble in the past because she was seen being too close with students. And what's disturbing is that this child's father knew that this was going on the entire time, and he didn't report it because he said that it was gonna happen behind his back, so he might as well let it happen. Haley denied everything, but then police found text messages between her and the student. Haley was arrested and charged, and so was the father of the 16-year-old. Did anyone else?
That's crazy, Seekers, man. To know that he knew what was going on, man. He just let it happen, bro. That's the first time I'm hearing something like that, Seekers. Or these videos that we watch together, man. Like I said, it blows my mind every single time, Seekers, man, that people freaking capable of doing things like that. Let's continue, Seekers.
To know that O.J. Simpson had prostate cancer. That in itself was news to me, but turns out that O.J. passed away yesterday at the age of 76 from cancer. Personally, I was never a fan of O.J. for obvious reasons, but for those who don't know what I'm talking about, let's recap a little about who O.J. was and what he's mainly known for. He began his career in the NFL, and he made a name for himself very quickly. Then in 1979, he retired from football, and he began focusing on acting, and he was actually in a number of movies, including this one. He divorced his first wife in 1979 and moved on to marry Nicole Brown. During their relationship, Nicole said that O.J. was extremely abusive, both physically and emotionally. They ended up filing for a divorce, and in 1994, Nicole and a friend of hers, Ron Goldman, who was also a waiter at a restaurant that O.J. and Nicole went to, they were both found murdered outside of her house. And the way that their bodies were found, the whole crime scene was so disturbing. And let's just say that the entire investigation and crime scene was an absolute shit show. There's so many details in this case that I can't even explain everything in one video, but there's plenty of documentaries on this case that you guys can watch. A lot of people were convinced that O.J. did it, but he was never convicted. And one of the main things that people still talk about till this day, and was said to be one of the reasons why the jury was doubtful that O.J. committed the murders, was this glove. These gloves that were used in the murder were covered in blood, and it was tried on by O.J. during the trial, and it didn't fit him, which was supposed to prove that he didn't do it. But experts argue that it's possible that the gloves could have still been worn by O.J. during the murders, despite not fitting his hands during the trial. It's a whole thing that even till this day, I'm so interested in this case, not only because it hasn't been solved, but because people are convinced O.J. did it.
When that happened, Seekers, man, you guys know that was freaking big news, trending all over Twitter and stuff. You saw how people were celebrating that he passed away, and other people are just like, no, mostly, but I just seen when people just be considering making jokes about it. I'm just like, we all know the infamous O.J. Simpson case, man. Had twists and turns. That one just freaking mind blowing, seekers. What do you guys think about O.J. Simpson? Thoughts down below.
Killed celebrities react to their jail sentence. Eric Holder Jr. Murdered Nipsey Hussle.
Would be 50 years to life. The total sentence would be 60 years to life in prison.
His reaction.
The court would also recommend to the Department of Corrections that the defendant be housed in a facility that would address his mental health needs.
Michael Boatwright.
What you saw?
Murdered extentation.
Who's a part of it?
You will go and be placed in a cell that has a stainless steel slab attached to the wall of your bed. And next to it is a stainless steel sink and a stainless steel toilet. That's the furniture. They spend every hour, every day, every week, and every year living in that cell. And one day, they'll come out of that cell and pass out. And on that day, he lives the sentence.
His reaction.
Life in prison.
He didn't even care. That's what it seemed to me, seekers. That's a clear edit.
This surgeon was trying to save one person on the operating table and managed to kill 3 people in the room before he was done.
Oh.
During the 1800s, Robert Liston was known and renowned as being one of the fastest surgeons alive. Now,
That ain't
given
good.
that back then anesthesia did not exist as we know it, this was a very good thing because the patients were always awake for the entire procedure. And on this particular day, Robert was performing a leg amputation, and he was working so quickly and he was in such a hurry that he actually cut off 2 of his assistant's fingers. The assistant and the patient, unfortunately, both ended up dying of gangrene because the saw that Robert was using was not clean. And well, what about the 3rd death, you ask? Well, as it turns out, he was swiping and he was working so quickly that he accidentally swiped one of the other doctor's coats that was in the room, and the doctor thought that he himself had been slashed, even though he wasn't. And he had a heart attack right there, fell to the floor, and died. And thus, an operation that was meant to save 1 life took 3.
Seekers, man. That's just an insane events that just happen, like boom, boom, boom. Like the probability of that happening, and it just happened like in succession, like 1, 2, 3. I'm just like, damn. You never know, man. Like I said, one action causes a ripple effect, and it can affect many things, seekers. One of the most bizarre cases. Evil case seekers.
This doctor was caught storing poisoned IV bags because he was angry over potentially losing his job. This all started in August 2022 when a surgical center in Dallas was forced to be closed down after there were a number of unexplained emergencies during patient procedures. One of these emergencies included this healthy 18-year-old who came in for a sinus surgery. Well, he ended up going into cardiac arrest and almost lost his life. All the patients who had the same reaction during a routine procedure survived, except for this woman who also happened to be a doctor. Dr. Melanie Casper became sick one day and was given an IV bag to take home to help her feel better. But minutes after inserting the needle, she suffered a heart attack and passed away. It turns out that these patients were poisoned with a nerve blocker, which was later found in the IV bags. After conducting an investigation, investigation, they realized that these IV bags had small holes in them, which showed that they were tampered with. Then after looking at surveillance footage, Dr. Reynaldo Ortiz was seen storing tainted IV bags, which turned out to be the same bags used on these patients. Prosecutors believe that Dr. Reynaldo was angry that he was going to lose his job over a problem in one of his previous surgeries and think that's why he did this. He now faces up to life in prison if convicted.
Seekers, man. It goes to show you like how if one person's life is ruined, they try to affect everybody else's. They're like, man, if my life going down, then I'm just gonna take everybody with me. Like, but they saw the pattern. Like I said, it was kept happening, like going in for just like routine procedures, and it turned into something else, man. And they were like healthier. They were like young, healthy people, except for their old one. Like, and when he did it to one of his colleagues as well, it's just like you have to watch everybody nowadays. Caught him in 4K though. You know that's added secrets.
This sick 23-year-old woman was pretending to be 14 years old online so she could have sex with teenage boys. Folks, I typically cover horror movies. This is fucking horror. This is real life horror, okay? People are sick. Alyssa was first arrested back in November. In November is when she was first suspected of having a sexual relationship with a young boy. But while looking further into the case, detectives realized there were maybe 3 or 4 other victims around the age of 13 and 14 years old. Apparently, Alyssa was communicating to these underage boys on TikTok and Snapchat. And this is honest to God why I probably won't give my boys a cell phone until I feel it's appropriate. At that time, she was living with her parents in November with the first arrest. She was arrested last week for multiple felony charges, including sexual cyber harassment, possession of child pornography. They ordered for Alyssa not to have any electronics access while being in jail currently. Her next court appearance is April 16th. I will keep you guys updated and make sure you follow for all things spooky, because this sure as shit is spooky. And it really has me scared for our kids of this generation. Let me know your thoughts on this case in the comments.
This is a sick...
She hit it on the head. That's why she said, man, when it came to, I guess, give her boys a phone, you gotta wait until it's the right time, because that's why you have to monitor kids' phones these days, because you never know what's going on. It's like, it's so easy to connect with people nowadays. You just truly, it's like, it's impossible to keep watch, but you have to try to do what you can to monitor at all times.
In case of the dad who ran over his daughter. In January 2022, Lauren Moult was just 19 years old. She should have been safe in the company of her father, Nigel Moult. However, in an alcohol-fueled rage, he did the unthinkable. Nigel was estranged from his wife and children and had been banned from going to their house or to his ex Karen's workplace. This was apparently due to a string of incidents where he was threatening towards them and also had assaulted his ex Karen. On the 23rd of January 2022, he arrived at the family house. He argued with Lauren and her boyfriend, which actually escalated into him threatening the boyfriend with a crowbar. He then returned to his black Mercedes and began to run over Lauren with the vehicle. He then reversed over her and drove over her again in what was described as a fit of rage. The 19-year-old was effectively crushed to death, and then coldly, Nigel decided to take her body, put it in the passenger seat, and then drive to his ex Karen's work. He had more than twice the legal alcohol limit in his system and was given a life sentence of a minimum of 18 years.
Just 18 years, Seekers? What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with that sentence? Tell you, that's why you don't drink alcohol, because it can truly change you. It can turn you into a different person, to a completely different person, unrecognizable. That's why, I try to stay away from that stuff, Seekers, because it's just bad to put in your system anyway. 18 years for something like that? I don't agree with that, Seekers.
Joshua, what do you have to say for yourself? Do you have any words for the families?
¿Qué tienes que decir? Anything to say? Before that, capital murder, asesinato capital.
What about the family of the person you killed?
I'm not a murderer.
Let's talk about the woman that was frozen solid and survived. On December 20th in 1980, Jean Hilliard's car got stuck in a ditch and she tried walking to get help. In the morning, she was found nearly frozen solid in a cattle rancher's front porch in negative 22-degree weather. She was so frozen that when they got her to the hospital, the needles couldn't even penetrate through the ice. And her body temperature was so low, it didn't even register on a thermometer. Medical staff all thought she was dead, but they decided let's try to warm her up and see what happens. Gradually warming her up, they eventually got a beat of 12 beats per minute. And this method worked. She actually went on to make a full recovery. But how scary is this? And obviously the picture behind me is fake, just for illustrative purposes due to guidelines. But it's estimated she was frozen solid for about 6 hours. I feel like making a full recovery after this is actually like insane. I would have assumed the blood supply to your brain would be kind of non-existent and you go brain dead. I guess in her case she got extremely lucky, especially for that 6-hour duration. Let me know what you guys think about Jean Hilliard's story in the comment section below, and as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
The frozen lady, Seekers. She was, like you said, she was frozen for 6 hours. That's just nothing short of a miracle, man, because like you said, you would think everything was shut down because everything was like frozen solid. But she made a full recovery, man. Like I said, they had to warm her up and she got the 12 beats per second. What do you guys think about that case, Seekers? Another bizarre one. Edit.
How this 15-year-old girl escaped a terrifying serial killer. 15-year-old Kara Robinson Chamberlain was in the front yard of her friend's home when a seemingly normal man got out of his car and approached her. That man was really 38-year-old serial killer Richard Avanis, who abducted 15-year-old Kara, put her in a storage bin that was in the backseat of his car, brought her to his home where he assaulted her for 18 hours. But Kara, at only 15 years old, started memorizing everything, from the serial number of the storage bin he transported her in, to the kind of cigarette he smoked, even the name of his dentist and doctor that Kara saw on papers that were just laying around the apartment. Once Richard fell asleep, Kara was able to get herself out of the handcuffs that he put her in, remove herself from the leg restraints that he also put her in, and tiptoe out of the front door. Once outside, she ran towards the nearest car, who took her to the police station. Through the many details that Kara remembered, they were able to find Richard's apartment again, but by the time they got there, Richard had already fled. Strangely enough, Richard went to his sister's house and just started confessing everything to her. Before abducting Kara, Richard had abducted, essayed, and unalived at least 3 other young girls, the youngest only 12 years old. Richard's also suspected to be guilty of even more young girls' deaths, but unfortunately we might never know if he is responsible because Richard unalived himself before the police were able to take him into custody. All of this happening while Richard's wife and mother were together at Disneyland. I love sharing these stories of survival. It reminds me a lot of Jimmy Close and JC Lee Dugard, which we also covered on this channel. It also reminds me a lot of Elizabeth Smart, which we haven't covered yet. So if you guys would be interested in seeing the case of Elizabeth Smart and how she saved herself from a really scary dude, let me know in the comments.
What are some of the...
It's all in the details, Seekers. I said that a couple of times, man. You always have to pay attention, man. The details is something, man. It can save your life. Like, you may think it's small and minute, but those small things, it can lead to something bigger if you put the pieces together, Seekers. Did you survive?
Strangest ways that police have tried to catch a killer. Well, in 1860, the body of 3-year-old Seville Kent was found at the bottom of an outhouse. But there was something very strange found next to his body. There was a woman's bra. So police decided that they were going to make all of the women that lived inside the Kent estate try on the bra and then convict the woman who it fit best. And even stranger than that was who fit into the bra. It was the boy's nanny. The whole story is full of so many twists and turns and juicy gossip that I had to cover the whole thing on the podcast this week. It's maybe the only time a woman's gone on trial for the fit of a bra.
The fit of a bra, Seekers.
Let me tell you the legend of the Candy Lady. And I suggest you listen to this story with the lights on. In the early 1900s, in the tiny town of Terrell, Texas, parents used to warn their children about the Candy Lady. The story goes, she would leave candy on the windowsills of children, lure them out with notes and the promise of more candy. The children would follow, go, and never be seen again. Stories of the Candy Lady began to circulate as children in the area began disappearing left and right. A farmer found rotten teeth on his property before ultimately finding the body of a young boy whose pockets were stuffed with candy. Older children in that same town confessed to adults saying that they had found candy on their own windowsills, with notes saying, "Come outside for more after your parents go to bed." During the height of these disappearances, an officer took it on himself to investigate and try to get to the bottom of this, and he himself went missing and was later found dead. His eyeballs had been stabbed with forks, and his pockets had been stuffed with candy. Many people believe that the Candy Lady was a woman named Clara Kane. And it was said that Clara and her husband lost a beautiful 5-year-old daughter in a tragic farming accident. And the legend goes that Clara was driven to madness with grief, and she blamed her husband for the accident and ultimately killed her husband and began snatching children in the town. And to this day, the legend of the Candy Lady is believed by some to be nothing more than a story that parents use to keep children safe and afraid of strangers. Others believe it to be a true story of heartbreak and heinous crime by a bereaved mother.
Seekers, what do you guys believe about that story? Is it facts or is it fiction? Is it just a scary story they chose to keep the kids in line? Or was there actually something more to that story? There was like a dark and sinister case behind it. We're going to have to dive into that one, Seekers. Or if you guys want to, tell me the story down below. I'm open to it, man. That's how we communicate in the comments.
Breaking news, they've arrested 4 individuals in connection to the missing Oklahoma moms. Though authorities have been tight-lipped since the 2 have disappeared, they have now released new details. They said the moms were believed to have been SHOT with pools of BLOOD left on the ground next to their empty vehicle. As you may remember, their vehicle was found about 1,000 feet off of Oklahoma's Highway 95. A convoy of 20 police vehicles, including SWAT trucks, were seen going to the grandmother's home yesterday. They said the home is located on the Oklahoma Panhandle. Texas County Sheriff's officials confirmed that the 54-year-old grandmother and her boyfriend were both arrested. Shortly after, they confirmed they had a total of 4 individuals in custody. Authorities believe this is all stemming from a nasty divorce and custody battle. The woman in which Veronica was traveling with is said to be more of an acquaintance than a friend. The pastor's wife is said to supervise Butler's visitations with her children. Just before setting out on this trip to pick up her children, she filed a petition in court that would give her more time with her children and full custody. Within those filings, it claimed that Veronica Butler and the grandmother of the children were not getting along due to the nasty battle. Veronica Butler has weekly court-mandated visits with her children on Saturdays. The preacher's wife, who was accompanying her, was listed as one of the supervisors on those visitations. Here is the official release statement by authorities. Law enforcement is still currently working to locate the 2 victims. For full details on this case and to stay up to date, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Seekers, the trending cases we be seeing, man, like when it comes to the custody battles, stuff like that, it turns into a freaking darker, sinister case because they just trying to get the kids, and it always turns into a battle who can just hurt each other the most. I never understood that, Seekers.
Did you guys know blue people actually exist? This family is famous in Kentucky for methemoglobinemia. It's a condition that turns the skin blue. And the only way it gets like this is through extreme inbreeding. The Fugate family, which is the blue family, just married each other. The main person married his aunt, and then his brother married his cousin, and then all the children married their cousins. This disease is sometimes life-threatening because the blood cells can't carry as much oxygen. The capacity is greatly reduced, and I mean, to get this disease you have to do extreme inbreeding, so I'm sure that is the least of your issues. I'm sure there's a lot of other things that you would have if you had this disease. Also, since methemoglobin is already oxidized, it can't bind to oxygen. Your blood turns this like chocolatey color, and obviously, you start to turn blue because of the lack of oxygen. Your SpO2 rate will be like 85%. Also, your organs, your heart, your brain, stuff like that, those can all be affected because they need oxygen. Yeah. Definitely an interesting story. Blue people are real, as we can see. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only. This is...
I've only heard about the case a couple of times, but I truly didn't believe it. I'm just like, blue people, Seekers, that's fake. They don't exist, but just saw that video, man. They definitely exist because of what goes on between the family. So having to live like that, these cases just be blowing my mind, Seekers.
Nusha of Kami, let's talk about the crimes that she committed. On December 10th, 2023, she ordered an Uber from her hotel to the Austin Bergstrom International Airport. Now, during the ride, she got frustrated with the Uber driver, saying that this was taking so long to get there. She then grabbed the Uber driver's phone and threw it out the window. He then stopped the car, got out to go retrieve his phone, and then she stole the car. The Uber driver was then left stranded and then alerted the Austin Police Department at the airport. On top of all this, she used the Uber driver's credit card to rack up a $120 bill at the airport store. The officers luckily arrested her before she could board her flight, and the Uber driver's Chevy Cruze was found and returned to him. When questioned, she was kind of unbothered, and she just made the Uber driver aware that he was going too slow and she would just take the car. She was then held at the Travis County Jail before posting a $10,000 bond. But that is wild, the fact that she just threw this guy's phone out the window and stole the car. And obviously she didn't really care. She's kind of unbothered in her mugshot. Let me know what you guys think about Nusha Afkami in the comments section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
Crazy
I was
case,
scrolling through Twitter, and I saw a picture of this man, and they said that he went to prison because he got picked on because of his haircut. And I didn't believe it, so I typed his name into Google, and sure enough, he did go to prison because he got picked on for his haircut, and he wanted to have his barber in his music video, and his barber declined. So 22-year-old Kadarius Pride shot his barber 3 times in his barber's home in front of his barber's mom. Then he turned the gun on his barber's mom and said, "What did you see?" She said, "I didn't see nothing." He said, "Are you going to tell?" She said, "No." So he let her live. But then he just turned himself in, because being on the run from the cops, it takes a tremendous amount of strength. It takes strength that normal people just don't have. You got to somehow be able to make money without getting a job. You got to somehow be able to live without a cell phone, live without social media, live without being on the grid, basically. He couldn't do that, so he turned himself in ASAP. And the mother who said she wouldn't tell, yep, she told. But she didn't deserve to see her son shot 3 times in front of her by one of his clients because he didn't want to be in a music video. But Twitter's saying he shot his barber because he was getting made fun of for his haircut. I want you to look at this man's haircut. Is this something that you would make fun of? Because if it's true that he was made fun of for his haircut and it cost another man his life, then that's a shame. Memphis, Tennessee, your life is worth the jokes that are made at one of your clients' expense, if this is true. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this man deserved to go to prison after shooting his barber 3 times in front of his mother and then threatening his mother for not wanting to be in his music video? Let me know how you feel.
Seekers, how do you guys feel about that case, man? Like I said, over a haircut, somebody did not have to lose their life over a haircut. And people on Twitter said because people were making fun of his haircut, man. It's like everybody has a different style, so I wouldn't make fun of it. I'm not the type of person, Seekers, to make fun of anybody. Like, that's just not me. I don't get that. Making fun of somebody is just like, everybody's different. But to hear that he did that, man, just because his barber didn't want to be in the music video, he was going to be on the run, man, but he turned himself in. Did that from his mom, too. Like, she had to live through that for the rest of her life. Crazy.
77-year-old man went to war with a Mexican cartel. Alezo Garzo Tamez had spent his entire life building and working at his ranch, and one day the cartel wanted to claim it as their own property. In the AM hours of November 13th, 2010, 77-year-old Don Alejo was startled by a convoy of trucks approaching his property. This wasn't someone trying to do honest business. It was the Los Zetas cartel. The truck stopped, and out came heavily armed cartel members. One of the members approached Alejo and demanded that he handed over the ranch, and informed him it would now be property of Los Zetos. They then gave him an ultimatum: leave within 24 hours, and if you're still here when we return, we will kill you. Don Alejo then took a moment and replied, "I'll be waiting. I'll see you in the morning." When they left, they definitely thought Alejo was bluffing. What would a 77-year-old man do to around 20 combat-aged men? Don Alejo couldn't go to the police either, as many of them were compromised by the cartels. So he chose to protect what he built his entire life. When his workers arrived to work that day, he told them to go home early and enjoy the long weekend with their families, not giving away that anything was wrong. Once all of his workers left, Don Alejo prepared for war, and he would be just a one-man army. He went to his basement where he kept all of his rifles, and he then strategically placed them all in the doorways and windows of his house, with plenty of ammunition prepared. He also boarded up all the doors and windows. He then called his wife, knowing more than likely this is the last time he will ever speak to her. Nighttime then came, and he was waiting for the attack, but as the hours ticked by, nothing happened. However, around 4 a.m., Alejo heard the hum and roar of multiple truck engines outside his property. The Zetas had arrived and circled the ranch in formation. They were honking their horns, flashing their lights, and firing gunshots up in the air. At first, nothing happened, and the cartel assumed the old man just left his farm. However, the sound of a gunshot filled the night sky, and it wasn't from one of them. This then set the cartel into panic mode, and a battle then ensued. Alejo boarded up the windows, leaving gaps he can shoot through, and he went window to window taking shots at the Zetas. And due to the darkness, the Zetas couldn't figure out what window Alejo was shooting from, and they then blindly sprayed their guns at the property. During the gunfight, Alejo's marksmanship would come in handy. He dropped cartel member after cartel member. He had killed 4 of them, resulting in the cartel convoy retreating into the darkness. Alejo maintained his position, waiting for them to return. The cartel was flustered and knew they couldn't go back to their boss empty-handed, defeated by a 77-year-old man. So they drew up a plan. In their trucks, they had grenade launchers.
What the?
The cartel once again approached the property, though they were worried to engage in another gunfight. Alejo then let out 2 more shots, and he hit 2 more cartel members, before one member used the grenade launcher to bomb Alejo's house to smithereens. At this point, the battle had been going on for several minutes, which alerted the military, who were now closing in on the area. Instead of entering the house after bombing it, the cartel fled the scene instead, leaving 6 men behind. 4 were shot dead, and 2 were unconscious due to being shot by Alejo. The military then arrived at the scene, and they found the bodies of the Zeta members. The soldiers then entered the house, which was now filled with bullet holes and debris. They then found Don Alejo's body in the doorway to the bathroom with various wounds to the body and head. After being hit by multiple pieces of shrapnel and being shot, it's believed Alejo dragged himself to the bathroom to have one final showdown with the cartel before he passed away. This 77-year-old man went toe-to-toe with at least 20 heavily armed cartel members, with only using old hunting rifles. Don Alejo was a man of honesty and principle and hard work. The story of Don Alejo is a tragic tale, yet a tale of inspiration.
He's still on business. He protected what was his, man, up until the very end, Seekers, man. That's rare. Not a lot of people would do that, man. The cartel came, they would just been like, you got it, I'm out. But he decided to fight for what he believed in. He said that is an inspiring story, Seekers. Whew. Guys, if you made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, some things I come in Seekers, man. Hopefully, man, like I said, I'm always trying to upgrade the quality for you guys, man. There's some things I made a list of things I want to get, and tell me down below, man. Like I said, I'm always open to any criticism and feedback, anything to make the channel better. I'm doing this for you guys, man. Like I said, we're trying to grow a community, something big and something special. So I need you guys. We got to do this together. You guys gonna be part of the journey. I'm out. You guys can catch in the next one. Peace, Seekers. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel, man. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to this channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos to IG reels, Facebook reels, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Like I said, I want to thank the Seekers, man, who's been tapping in with us, man. Subscribing to the channel, hitting that like button, hitting that post notification bell. That helps us grow the Seekers. So I greatly appreciate that, man. Like I said, let's grow this community into something special. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Seek the truth.
People who killed animals reacting to their sentence. This is Alicia Concholi, and she burned a raccoon alive. And the most messed up part is she recorded the entire thing. I don't recommend watching the video at all because it is very disturbing. But what I'm about to show you is Alicia reacting to the sentence that she got for committing this awful and inhumane crime.
And the first video is of this raccoon, and I know you describe it as some nuisance or menacing animal, and all you see is this little raccoon face looking up at the screen. And when humans deliberately make animals suffer, there is a justifiable cause for concern. You sealed your own fate when it came to how the public will forever perceive you. You will not be allowed to own or possess any pets. You will need to surrender those within the next 30 days at this point. Oh, well, I'll tell you that. Your sentence is 45 days in the Sarasota County Jail. However, if you successfully perform 45 days on the Sheriff's Work Offender Program and complete that, I was going to make you do it in 180 days, and they can't coordinate that, so it's 315 according to their math. If you fail to complete that, you will automatically be arrested and sentenced without any further hearings.
Some chilling updates in the...
Like, how could you do... Like, she did that to the freaking raccoon seekers, man. She had freaking pets at home. Like, I don't understand how you could do that. Like, come on, man. Seekers people, we gotta be better. She had freaking pets at home, but she still committed that act. And the fact that she freaking recorded it, too, just shows you, man, like, it's cause for concern when people do stuff like that, seekers. Be aware.
Idaho murders. Police are scouring for bushes as they believe the killer may have been actually watching them and stalking them beforehand. Plus, they don't know what this person is capable of. As it's come to light, a dog was filleted and skinned only weeks before. Investigators have been seen looking through bushes near the residences as part of a probe into whether he actually hid and spied on them beforehand. The search has coincided with a really unsettling revelation that an elderly couple's dog only 3 miles away was slaughtered by being filleted and skinned. Now, police haven't linked the two cases as there's no evidence to tie them together, although it has raised some serious eyebrows amongst residents with concerns that someone may have tried it on a dog before they moved on to the attack. So far, over 640 tips have been received, 90 interviews have been conducted, yet they have no suspect, no murder weapon, and no compelling leads, just some really eerie coincidences. Authorities are asking all local residences and businesses to please, if they have it, give their CCTV over from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. in hope of finding some more concrete evidence.
That kid still has freaking twisted turn seekers, man. I guess that was a new update. I didn't know they freaking... It's like I said, before they moved on to the freaking humans, they tried it on the freaking dog. Like, what the hell, man? This world we live in, seekers. Freaking shocks me, bro. Every single day, man. Every single time I watch these videos with you guys. So there was more footage, man, that they had to find, like I said, seekers. They sort of to bring them to justice, man. They got all those tips, but they still couldn't find anything. We're gonna have to stay up to date with that story, seekers. Hey. Yeah, call it like I said. That's an edit.
And sing this little song. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run.
May 19th, 1977, 20-year-old Colleen Stan was hiking from Eugene, Oregon to her friend's home in Northern California when she accepted a ride from Cameron and Janice Hooker. She had passed up 2 car rides previously, but this one felt safer as they were driving with their baby in the back seat. At first, the ride was normal until Janice and Cameron pulled over on the side of the road and held a knife up to Colleen's throat. That is when they kidnapped her and put her in a tight box under a waterbed. Cameron even had a contract with Janice saying that he would not have sexual relations with Colleen, but that was short-lived. He essayed her daily, causing her to give birth to 2 daughters, and even made her wear a 20-pound wooden box on her head. Cameron did a great job at brainwashing Colleen, as eventually she was able to work in the front yard, have her own job, and even see her family in 1981. All of those times, she never asked for help. The reasoning why is because Cameron lied, saying there was an organization called The Company, and if she tried to escape, they would capture her and bring her back to him. In fear of Colleen having too much freedom, he eventually put her back in the tight box under the waterbed for 3 years. He then asked her to be his second wife, and Janice stepped in and started encouraging Colleen to escape. And in 1984, she did. Janice testified against Cameron in court. He received 104 years in prison. He was going to be released in 2023, though it was pushed back to 2030. Thank God.
You will not believe the
hell? Seekers, I can't. That freaking case, man. Freaking more details came in that light. Now I can't believe he was gonna get freaking out in 2023. Yeah, they pushed that back to 2030. I feel like, yeah, that's the right call for what he freaking did to her, bro. There's no explanation for that one, man. Dark case.
The horrific things that this woman allegedly did with her dog. This is Brittany McClure, and up until a couple of weeks ago, she lived a completely normal life. Brittany is from Michigan here in the United States. She had a boyfriend, and everything seemed to be going great in her life. That is, until her boyfriend decided to check on some of the security camera footage from a camera that he had installed inside of the couple's home. Apparently, Brittany's ex-boyfriend had noticed that there had been some movement in the living room in the middle of the day, so he went to go check the footage. And when he went to go watch the footage, he could not believe what he was seeing. As he watched in horror, he saw his own girlfriend, Brittany, performing an act on the dog using her mouth. And she was doing this with a massive smile on her face. And when she was finished, she tried to get the dog, the couple's dog, to perform the same act on her. The detective that's investigating this case noted that while this was going on, Brittany was saying words like, "good boy." The detective even stated that in 2 decades of police work, he had never seen a video quite like the one the boyfriend brought into him. Now, Brittany was arrested and charged with a number of different things. Obviously, this is considered animal abuse, and this case is just being brought to trial or whatever the process is right now. So we're going to find out more about all of Brittany's devices and exactly what she's been doing to her dog in the house. But I just cannot believe this story, and I cannot even fathom what her boyfriend must have felt when he just went to go check the security camera video and saw that. Absolutely disgusting, shocking, horrifying, and yeah, just ugh.
The girl you were looking at has no...
Seekers, man. I knew freaking people like that existed, but freaking first time or just hearing that case, bro, using the heebie-jeebie Seekers. I'm like, the boyfriend, man, just saw some freaking movement throughout the house. And, like, I know he was not expecting to see that. He was just checking to see what was going on, and the freaking, that probably like shattered his world, bro. Had to. Found out she was doing that to the dog. I don't like, you know, freaking visual in my head. That's just something I can't even do. Hell no, Seekers.
No idea that she's about to take the most unexplainable photo in history. This is 5-year-old Elizabeth, and this is her father Jim, who instructed her to sit down so that way he could take a picture of her in her brand new dress. He took a total of 3 pictures while his wife and his other daughter stood right beside him. When the photos were developed, Jim found on the second photo there's a large humanoid figure standing behind him that resembles a spacesuit. The couple came out and said, "We were in an empty field, there was no sort of bystanders, and I think we would have known if somebody was standing behind our daughter." Jim had the photo examined by Kodak Lab, and they said the anomaly in the picture is original negative, which means this thing behind her is physically present there, like it's real. This picture was taken in 1964. Obviously there was no sort of Photoshop, but if you think that's the craziest part, listen to this. This all made headlines, and Kodak Labs offered $1 million to anybody who could disprove this photo. And to this day, it has never been paid out. More recently, people have been saying they have debunked this by saying it's really her mother standing behind her. And I don't know, her mother was wearing a blue dress that day, and they basically said the overexposure from the light made it look white. Here are the pictures side by side, and you kind of let me know what you guys think. So is this Jim's wife in the background, or is this something we've never seen? Make sure to like and follow for tomorrow's video. You're not going to convince...
Seekers, what do you guys think on that one? Is that her mom in the background? Was that just like something completely else, something different, man? Because I seen that in a couple of videos I'm watching with the fellow Seekers, man, about like how people take pictures and it captures something in the background, but people, they always want to disprove it and stuff like that. But like you said, they was giving out $1 million to disprove it, and it still hasn't been solved to this day. So there has to be something more to that, Seekers, right? What do you guys think, man? Or tell me if you guys can actually try to debunk it.
This isn't a social experiment by nature to see how much greed they could get away with shoehorning into one animal. Platypus are built like a middle finger to their natural order. I'm not even finna waste time with what you already know. It's a duck cosplaying beaver with web feet that lays eggs as a mammal. They also produce milk, but since they're a mammal with no mammaries, instead they sweat it. So if you're a pug level platypus, you gotta get calories from mommy's arm crotch. Armpit. That sounded... I don't even know why I said that. My bad. They have no teeth. Instead, they use rocks as DIY dentures. They have no stomach. It goes straight down their gullet. Speaking of food, platypus swim blind and deaf, so they hunt using electroreceptors. Let it be known, they stole the shark's whole flow. Don't worry, it gets weirder. They have a 3-in-1 hole, literally one hole that serves every purpose, and apparently that was so fascinating that folks named their entire family reunion after it. Don't know what I mean? Well, after watching this, go and Google monitoring. Males have a venomous spur containing a toxin more powerful than morphine, as in if you get faded by a fedora warrior, you're basically cooked for months until the pain wears off, and yeah, it can take months. Their build nearly gave scientists a brain hemorrhage because the first ones to see it thought it was a hoax and that people stitched random animal parts together as a practical joke. Little did they know. Platypus have a 2-headed DNA hose covered in spines. Don't look it up. I did. I regret it. In late 2020, we found out this beaver tail identity crisis is bioluminescent. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Dan Povenmire came up with the idea for Perry in 1994, so either he or nature itself is memeing on us. Now I'm leaning towards Dan because you know what a platypus sounds like? And apparently we're supposed to believe that was a lucky guess too. With a track record like that, I wouldn't be surprised if he worked on The Simpsons. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but they're way smaller than I thought they were as a kid. Also, the babies are called puggles, the more you know.
Information, man, we learned if we compare the platypus today. The hell, Seekers? Like I said, how did the I'm about to say the creator of the Perry the platypus, man, he nailed the sound and some of the details. How the hell did he know about that, Seekers? I didn't even know they had they swim blind or deaf. It's just like, hey, Seekers, I'm telling you, man, tap in with us, man. You're going to learn some new facts every single day, man, when we watch these videos together. Tell me if you guys freaking learned it today, do, bro, about the platypuses, man. That is. Clearly an edit.
This creepy dentist was sentenced to 180 years in prison, as if going to the dentist wasn't already scary enough. So this is Joseph Clarence Cox. Joseph was initially arrested in April of 2021 after some really disturbing allegations were made. You see, 8 former employees of Joseph's testified that he had assaulted them during business hours. And these assaults in the middle of the workplace in the middle of the day went beyond touching and groping. In fact, 2 of the employees stated that they were raped and sodomized. But this abuse wasn't limited to employees. You see, 3 former patients actually testified that Joseph had abused them while they were undergoing dental work. So basically, this guy's dental office was an absolute house of horrors. In the middle of the day, during working hours, he was assaulting employees all throughout the building. And then when it came to patients, Joseph was giving them the drugs, getting them ready for procedures, and then began touching them and doing things to them while they were under. So yeah, once all of this came to light, Joseph's wife of 10 years immediately divorced him. And after a couple years, Joseph was eventually sentenced to 180 years in prison. Needless to say, he's going to be in there for a very, very long time, thank God. Here's a GPS image of what the dental office looks like. I can't tell if this is a new clinic or what. But it's absolutely unfathomable to think of the horrors that this building has witnessed. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife, Courtney, Murder in America. It's available on all streaming platforms now.
Yeah, I don't know if it...
It's freaking crazy case, Seekers, man. He was just doing it like to freaking anybody and everybody in that building. They did not care. I guess he thought he was the boss. He can freaking get away with it. Thought he could do anything and to freaking do it to the patients as well, man. Like I said, guys, when you go under or something, man, if you have like a major procedure, I know this goes without saying, but I guess make sure somebody's with you, man. I know they can't be in the room with you, but at least try to be around enough vicinity, because once you go under, man, you just completely unsafe, man. They can do anything to you and you don't even know. Like he said, he was giving them the freaking drugs so they could be unconscious and he could just do whatever he wanted, Seekers. He's a damn dentist, too. You can't even go to the dentist nowadays, bro. Danger around every corner, Seekers.
This is the most disturbing, but this is definitely top 5. This is Malgas Island. and up to 60,000 of these birds called Cape gannets will nest here. But don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. So normally these parents take turns, with one going out for food with the other staying behind to guard the chick. But because of overfishing, oftentimes both parents will go out for food, leaving the chick all alone on the island. Which wouldn't be a problem if they didn't know that. Because groups of these white pelicans will fly over to the islands and then walk around looking for any unsupervised gannet chicks. So that they can grab the baby birds and eat them alive while they're still struggling. And sometimes they'll just push the parents out the way and then swallow the newborn children right in front of them. It somehow gets worse. Those same pelicans will fly back to their nest and vomit the half-digested, recently murdered baby birds for the pelican chicks to eat. And because Cape gannets have no real way to defend themselves, pelicans have no reason to stop. And since pelicans obviously don't have teeth, those chicks' last moments were spent suffocating while being digested alive by stomach acid, only to get regurgitated and eaten twice. Dinosaurs never went extinct. They just rebranded with feathers.
The more you know, Seekers. The more you know. Like you said, they some damn menaces, but like when the freaking parents go to hunt, man, they just say, well, we just freaking eating a cage, bro. And they said sometimes they do it right in front of them because they can't defend themselves, man. Nature nerfed them, bro. They can't even defend their kids or defend themselves. Said, way to go, Seekers. Seen that a couple of times. That's added.
The captain thought he'd spotted a seal floating on an iceberg, but upon getting closer realized it wasn't a seal. They were shocked by what they saw. The captain, Mallory, had 20 years of fishing experience. She has a big fishing boat. The fishing boat had a big name, the Nordic Pearl. This time, they decided to go out for 2 months. But on the first day of the trip, they had a problem. The weather was suddenly overcast. There were dark clouds. You can't imagine how oppressive it was. But they decided to work according to the itinerary. Early that morning, after breakfast, as they prepared their nets, they were looking for fish. There was a strange sound in the distance. It was very far away. The captain, Mallory, looked to where the sound was coming from. It seemed to be an iceberg floating on the surface. He's never heard anything like it before. He suspects it might be a seal, but he can't see the seal. Driven by curiosity, he decides to bring the ship closer to see what it is. As the ship nears, one of the crew screams. The mood on the ship changed in an instant. There's an outcry that it's definitely not a seal. You won't believe what they saw. Follow me to part 2.
Disclaimer.
Damn, bro, these part 2s always get us, Seekers, man. I'm gonna find it for you guys, bro, because I know that's annoying, man. Y'all guys want to finish out the story. Same as me, Seekers, man. We in the same boat. Gotta get these part 2s out for you guys. Damn, always are the best ones, too, bro.
Depending on when you're watching this, there might just be a gender war in the comments, which is crazy because we're talking about baboons. So you probably know the deal with baboons, right? Usually the biggest, most belligerent alpha males, you know, the top ape. They're the ones that get the most, you know, while the lesser males, the best they can do is get the scraps. And how does a baboon become an alpha? Oh, easy. Violence. Lots of it. It's like a vicious cycle. If the most aggressive baboons are the ones doing the most gooning, the more baboonery becomes generational. Except the cycle did break at one point. There was a point, I think it was like in the 1980s or something, where a bunch of baboons ate at a garbage dump, caught tuberculosis, and took a permanent leave from life. Oh, they dead. And with a lot of the aggro males out of commission, that left a lot of mild-mannered survivors. Now, you might think they took the opportunity to start big flexing, like, oh, some bully become the bullies type shit. Actually, no, they were in fact chill like that. Now, normally the alpha males would regularly have temper tantrums and would beat on other males, females, and if you were an unsupervised minor, you could really get the Hulk to Loki treatment. But nah, these new males were kinder. They would spend more time grooming females, but not like in the weird YouTuber kind of way. They would even babysit for other females. And you know, since male baboons leave their birth troop to join a new one, new members would see this and be like, oh, so this is what we doing? I bet. Basically, there was a whole culture shift, and all it took was the bullies getting blacklisted from the census. And yeah, we're still talking about baboons here. The same ones that jump leopards and eat baby gazelles fresh out the womb. Those baboons, the more you know.
You may have heard about this story, but...
Damn, there's like a whole shift, bro. Seekers, that goes to show you, man. I guess when that one group left, all those freaking, he said those baboons, you know, the ones that freaking, the alpha ones that used the violence, once those, I guess, freaking faded out, the chill ones came into play. They didn't change, bro. That's like some nature versus nurture type stuff right there, right, Seekies? It's actually interesting if you think about it. Like you said, you would think they would try to be the same way, but no, they went on their own freaking path, bro. Crazy to think about.
I don't think you know how dark it is. In October of 2011, a man intentionally cut open the cages of 56 wild animals he was keeping in his backyard, unleashing them on his town. But let's talk about why it happened and the man who did it. And if you don't want spoilers, this week's episode is all about people that try to own exotic and wild animals and their deadly consequences, so you don't want to miss it. So in October of 2011, people in Zanesville, Ohio started calling 911 when they saw lions and tigers in the woods. Police already knew about Terry Thompson, who lived in the area and kept wild animals in cages on his property, including lions, tigers, other big cats, bears, baboons, you name it. But in Ohio at the time, there technically weren't any laws against that. So though Terry was keeping these animals in horrible conditions, he wasn't really doing anything wrong. So the police go to Terry's property to check out what's going on, but when they get there, not only do they find that Terry had taken his own life, but he had cut open all of the cages of all of his animals before he did it. And to make matters worse, he had surrounded himself with raw chicken as if he was trying to entice the animals to come eat him. The police ultimately were able to locate him because he was being consumed by one of his tigers. So this guy John actually worked with Terry, and he said that the night before this happened, Terry received a letter suggesting that his wife had been having an affair. So that's our best guess as to why this happened, but ultimately 49 of his 56 animals had to be put down by the police. And lastly, and probably most disturbing of all, when the coroner's report came back on Terry, they found that his genitals were missing. And it was unclear if that happened before or after the tiger got him.
God damn, Seekers, man. He had all those freaking... all those animals, what the hell? Because it was a loophole, man, so he could just, I guess, keep any animals he wanted. He had bears, tigers, lions. Like what? There wasn't nobody in that town that probably suggested, hey, like, we need to check that out, or if we can keep an eye on him. He has all those dangerous animals. You don't know what would happen, bro, if they got out, and look what happened, man. They had to put down, like, damn near all of them. Crazy world, Seekers, man. You would think, bro, like that would probably be in like every freaking... you would think there would be laws in freaking everywhere, bro, that says you can't possess those type of animals, but yeah, some places don't. That's actually crazy. Had it. Tail right there.
This is the Joe family tiger attack, one of the worst animal attacks caught on camera explained. On July 23rd, 2016, the Joe family visited Batting Wildlife Park in Beijing, China. This place is an enclosure where you drive your car around and wild animals walk around you. In their car were all 4 members of the family. Their names haven't been mentioned by the press, but in the car was a husband, wife, their child, and the wife's mother. The park issued warnings to all visitors to never leave your car, especially in the Siberian tiger enclosure, which is exactly what Mrs. Joe did. These tigers are the largest tigers in the world and can weigh over 600 pounds, and their claws are 4 inches in length. And their bite is even stronger than a grizzly bear. In the CCTV footage that was released, you can see Mrs. Joe leave the car and wander over to the driver's side. Nobody can really put their finger on what she was doing. She might have been yelling at the driver, but nobody knows. Nonetheless, it was very strange behavior, especially with a bunch of Siberian tigers running around. And seconds later, a tiger suddenly appears and pounces on the woman from behind. She appeared to be unaware of its presence until it was too late. The tiger knocks her down and drags her quickly out of frame. The driver, who is clearly panicking, is unsure on what he should do. He then gets out of the car and leaves the frame, then comes back and the older woman in the vehicle gets out too. And the two of them then run out of the frame in panic. What isn't shown in the video is what happens next. The older woman runs to her daughter's aid, but little did she know there was another tiger stalking them. You can see a park ranger pulling up, but even they were too slow to react, and a second tiger pounced on older Mrs. Joe, and then drags her away viciously. The park rangers then managed to get in and scare the tigers, and the younger woman was saved. She sustained horrific injuries, but luckily she did survive. Her mother, however, wasn't so lucky. The older Mrs. Joe died from her injuries. The video of this incident sparked massive backlash against the younger Mrs. Joe. Countless online comments criticized her stupid and reckless behavior, and in general blaming her for the entire incident. There's also many comments saying that Mr. Joe did literally nothing to save his wife, although that's not fair, because you don't see what happens off camera, and he was trying to fight off 2 Siberian tigers.
Damn.
Mrs. Joe's father said the reason she left the car was because of sickness, although this explanation didn't convince anyone.
Like, you're in a freaking enclosement like that, man, but freaking tiger, like I said, freaking tigers around and you got out the car. And I ain't leaving that car for freaking nothing. I don't actually even go to a place like that, man, because I hear too many stories like that, bro, of something happening, man. So that's not even something I'm interested in, Seekers. And also, man, goes to show you, bro, like how you kind of don't know the freaking full story, how they just blame the freaking husband saying he ain't do nothing, but off the camera, he tried to fight off 2 Siberian tigers, man. Not too many people could say they would actually try to do that, so it's best to don't say anything to know the full story, man, because you never know, Seekers. You truly never know. Seekers, man, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, I've been seeing the comments. I'm trying to grow us, man. I'm trying to grow the Seekers. So, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Also, hit that post notification button so we can grow the community together. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social medias down below, man, so you guys can stay connected. You guys can catch in the next one, man. Seekers, bro, I'm doing these daily uploads for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, man. We're gonna keep them going. Out. Peace, Seekers. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are brand new here, man, if you don't know what we do, we break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to IG videos to TikTok videos. Anything weird, usual, and explained, you can find right here on this channel. Want to thank the Seekers, man, who's been tapping in with us, man, subbing up to the channel. I appreciate that, man. We seeking the truth just like you, man. Found this video for you guys today, bro. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Let's seek the truth out here, bro. Somebody gotta find it.
Mother killed her 3-year-old daughter because SpongeBob SquarePants told her to. If you've never heard about this, you might want to. On September 17th, 2022 in Michigan, a police officer named Gerald Sobolewski received a call from a man inside his sister's residence claiming that he found a human foot. So the officer then immediately drove to the residence, and when checking the back room, he found 2 garbage bags with one of them having a human foot sticking out of it, and unfortunately in one of the bags was the body of 3-year-old daughter Sutton Moser, who was stabbed multiple times before being stuffed into the bag. Police immediately got a search team together to find Sutton's mother, and eventually they did find her, and she was passed out in a random graveyard. Turns out the 22-year-old mother named Justine Johnson was the culprit who stabbed and murdered her 3-year-old daughter, and was therefore immediately arrested by the police. When asked why she did it, it was later revealed that she was experiencing hallucinations from heroin withdrawals and not sleeping for approximately 2 weeks. So on the day of Sutton's murder on September 16th, 2022, Justine was hallucinating while watching SpongeBob SquarePants, who apparently instructed her to kill and take her daughter's life. She also said that if she didn't do what she did to her daughter, that they would kill her, and said she was afraid for her life and lost her mind. This case is just shocking and absolutely disturbing, and how could SpongeBob convince you to kill your own daughter? I get she was hallucinating, but still, this is just absolutely crazy to wrap your head around. Rest in peace to Sutton, you did not deserve this at all.
Always check under your bed.
Man, bro, Seekers, that's a freaking bone-chilling case, bro. Like I said, you guys know the shows and movies and stuff we watch, man. They be how sometimes people be saying like they have freaking messages behind it, and they freaking can make people do things that they shouldn't do, bro. Like, she said she was hallucinating, but still, like, to say that SpongeBob convinced you to do that to your own daughter, bro, that's like some dark, demented stuff, Seekers. What do you guys think, bro?
Before you go to sleep, this, my friends, is the Poltergeist Clown. Click the plus, drop a like, tag a friend, share with 3, or this might get you at night. The Poltergeist Clown is a demonic clown. It takes the shape of a children's toy, waiting for its victims to go to sleep. As soon as it does, it teleports itself under the bed. Once the child awakens, it notices that it's gone. It checks in one place and one place only, under the bed, which then the clown will suck them into another dimension, never being seen again. If this video gets 20,000 likes, I'll summon this cursed clown. Hopefully he doesn't get me before then.
I don't mess with clown, Seekers. Hell no, bro.
Imagine being so scared of police that you freeze to death. Brandon Bushman was a 34-year-old man living in Minnesota. On June the 26th, 2023, something horrific was revealed. Police responded to a call asking them to attend a property that hadn't been lived in since around February 2023. Just after 3:30 p.m., police found Brandon's body inside of a chest freezer in the property. Now, witnesses had seen police in the local area and spotted Brandon run from the upstairs of the house. It's believed that he had a warrant outstanding for his arrest, and it's believed he was trying to evade police. In doing so, he ran to the freezer of the property, presumably hoping to hide there for a short amount of time. However, after climbing into the basement freezer by choice, tragically due to it being an older model of freezer, it had no facility to be opened from the inside. It had a latching mechanism on the outside of the freezer only. Tragically, Brandon was trapped. He couldn't escape the freezer. He was found deceased, and the autopsy showed no evidence of him having any prior injuries or trauma to his body.
Can you?
Seekers, as I said, bro, you gotta think before you freaking act, bro. Like, for him trying to hide from the police, bro, it ended up him freaking making an ultimate mistake, and he lost everything, bro. Like, he was trying to freaking avoid the consequences, man, of his actions, bro. Went to the freezer. It was an older model he didn't know, and look what happened, bro. It's like it's as simple as the small things, Seekers, man, that you just don't think about. You're just trying to avoid the consequences or something like that. It can lead to an even bigger one, so it's best to just freaking own up to it, bro. Because you never know what that other consequence could lead to, man, if you're trying to avoid your first one.
Tell that there is something wrong with this picture. At first, when I saw this picture, I couldn't really tell what it was about it that felt strange, but I knew something was off. I had to get some of the backstory and some of the context on it to understand what the picture was even from. This was back in 2016 when the Saturn family went missing, including their daughter. Nobody knew what happened to these people, but effectively their home became a crime scene, which is where the photo came from. Before we dive in, a huge thank you to you for listening to Creep Time, the podcast. If you haven't listened, go click the link in my bio and listen on Spotify or Apple. This picture. This was from the initial walkthrough of the home. They typically walk through a home, they'll take photos of every room. If you look at the central mirror, right towards the back of the reflection, you can see that this person is not alone in this room. It was only discovered after the fact that it appeared to be someone was hiding in the darkness next to the chair. Whoever's face this was, police believe they might have been responsible for the disappearance.
See, cause you definitely saw that face, right? I know I wasn't the only one who saw that, bro. Like I said, when you first glance at the freaking picture, I'm gonna say there's nothing wrong with it, but if you zoomed in, there's definitely a face there, bro. So they definitely have to be connected to whatever happened to that family, bro. It's a small thing, Seekers, bro, that you just can't miss. Ooh. How the hell's a tire fall? Is that it?
Stop scrolling because this has to be one of the strangest and scariest skinwalker encounters ever. TikTok user Samael said that he was walking across a parking lot when a man called him by his name. He turned around and realized that he didn't recognize this man and had no idea how he even knew his name. Things got even weirder though. The man then asked him for $1 and said that I know you only have one in your wallet right now. Which was true. Samael said that at this point his heart was jackhammering. He froze there and didn't know what to say, so he said, "Yeah man, I only got $1 but you can have it." He gave him the $1 and then the strange man said, "Yo, do you want to see something?" The man then allegedly lifted up the back of his shirt and showed him his tail. Then he got on all fours like an animal and crawled away.
Seekers, what do you guys think, man? Do you believe that was a skinwalker, or was he just freaking trying to mess with us, man? Those skinwalker stories, bro, they're always like trippy, man. You always gotta like do your deep dive into them, bro. You gotta research them yourself to check out if it's true or not. I'm definitely gonna have to check out those skinwalker stories.
Most disturbing videos in the world, episode 6. This picture contains a list of disturbing videos from the least scary to the most. This will be my scariest series ever. Welcome to tier 7 because we skipped a couple of them. And honestly today, we're gonna skip directly to tier 10. The first video is titled Funky Town. This video single-handedly could be the worst video the internet has ever had. Now obviously I can't show the video here, but I can tell you everything you need to know about it. And please remember, don't look this up. Trust me. It shows a man, you know, getting executed, in which they remove the man's face all while he's still alive. And lots of other stuff start happening. And in the background of the video, the song Funky Town starts playing. You know this song? Yeah, that one. Make sure to like and follow because I start my brand new series tomorrow.
That Funky Town video is a cursed video, bro.
What they find out years later will haunt you. A young couple decided to take a late-night stroll through the forest, but little did they know what awaited them. As they walked, the man felt a sense of unease, but his girlfriend dismissed his concerns. Suddenly, the man stepped on something that felt alive and squishy under his feet. Before he could react, they heard rustling from the bushes beside them. They ignored it and kept walking until they returned home. Years later, and they were watching TV when an interview with a death row inmate caught their attention. The man had been asked if he had ever came close to getting caught for his heinous crimes. The killer responded with a chilling tale. Yes, I remember one night in the woods a couple walked right by me. The man stepped on the body of the girl who I had just killed. I was hiding in the bushes just a few feet away, but they never saw me. The couple watched in horror as the name of one of the most notorious serial killers was revealed. His name was Ted Bundy. Follow because my next story is crazy.
Seekers, man. Can you freaking even imagine that, bro? You walking in the woods or something like that, bro. You already have that freaking weird feeling, bro. You, like they said, if you can, the guy stepped on something squishy, bro. He didn't even pay attention to it because he heard rustling in the freaking bushes. And I found out that you was in danger like the whole time, bro. And nothing happened to you. Ooh. Like you could really, there's danger lurking everywhere, bro. That's why I always say be aware, seekers, because you never know what situation you're gonna be in, man.
So this murdered Texas couple's missing baby has finally been found after 42 years. And the story is crazy. Let's take a look. So in 1981, Dean Klaus, his wife Tina Lynn, and their baby Holly disappeared without a trace in East Texas. The only clue was from an anonymous caller who said that he had found Dean's car in California. And he claimed that 3 women in white robes drove it from Texas to California. Police were actually able to track down one of the women who called herself Sister Susan, and she claimed that Dean had joined a cult and renounced all earthly possessions. And she wouldn't tell them anything else. It actually wasn't until late last year that human remains found around the same time were confirmed to be Dean and Tina's. Dean had been beaten to death and Tina had been strangled. But that didn't answer what happened to Holly. This year, investigators were searching for human remains around where Dean and Tina were found. And that's when they got a genetics hit that Holly was alive and in Oklahoma. But get this, when they were talking to Holly, they found out that she had been left on the steps of a church in Arizona by none other than 3 women in white robes. Investigation is still pending, and they are really trying to figure out who these white-robed women are. But for now, at least we know that Holly is alive and well.
Man, bro, what the hell? Seekers? That guy just freaking, you say he joined the cult and just gave away, they said gave up all his early possessions. I'm guessing that included his daughter too, bro. He just left her in the church in Arizona. Yeah, the freaking baby survived. But what happened? I'm trying to figure out now. The mystery is what happened to the parents out of like cult, and those what happened to the parents that they connected. Seekers, man, like I said, when I watch these videos, I always expand my mind, bro. I gotta do my research just like you guys have to. Gotta check up on that. Where's this guy? Edit. Gotta call it out like I see it, bro. It's an edit. I just gotta say it, man. Or at least I think it's an edit.
If you hear a scream, run. This, my friends, is SCP-939, also known as Many Voices. Click the plus, drop a like, tag a friend, share with 3, or this might come after you. SCP-939 mimics the voices of its last victims, either it being their screams or them talking, to lure in new victims. As soon as you get there, it'll devour you. If you hear a scream, don't trust it.
Oh won't.
Scariest videos I found online. We bet you can't watch the whole video.
The last one scares me.
A woman is hearing weird noises in her home. She goes to investigate. This is what happens.
Edit? Or legit?
A man sees another strange man on the road. Things get really weird.
Buddy! How you doing? Oh, just some cruisers, man.
What the?
Loves Chris. Just crawling at me like a cat. What's up, dude?
Let's say that this thing grabs you and says it won't let you go unless your third act leaks all the photos on their phone right now. Let me know who it is and let me know if you think you're saved or doomed. A man hears something in the drain cover and decides to check it out. This is what happens. Should I do a part 4?
Kenneth Smith,
You guys saw that freaking last part, bro? He lifted up the drain cover seekers. And somebody was definitely in there, bro. Like, guys, you know, been hearing the things about how, like, freaking people, they can just be anywhere, bro. Living anywhere. Was he, like, living in the sewers, bro? Heard rumors about sewer people and stuff like that. You know, people, I guess, who live on the ground. I definitely got to check that out, seekers, bro. And that skinwalker freaking joint. And that guy walking on all fours. Very creepy, seekers.
prisoner on death row who made history for all the wrong reasons. His story goes all the way back to 1988 when he maliciously took the life of Elizabeth Sennett. He was arrested and sentenced to death. For the next 33 years, he waited until November 2022 when officers told him that this was the last day he was going to be alive. He was scheduled for lethal injection, though the people performing his execution could not find his vein in time, thus resulting in Kenneth surviving. Instead of trying again, on January 25th of this year, the state of Alabama followed through his sentence by giving him nitrogen gas, which was the first time in history an inmate has ever been executed through this method. What nitrogen gas essentially does to the human body is it deprives it of oxygen, thus making it impossible to breathe. Unlike lethal injection, this process is extremely lengthy and painful. It can take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to finish the job. Despite a ton of backlash, the state of Alabama did not listen. After 15 gut-wrenching minutes of Kenneth struggling, he passed away. Since then, a lot of controversy has sparked, so as always, let me know your thoughts.
Millions of TikTok. That's freaking crazy, bro. That they legit seekers, they had to come up with a new way to freaking to end it all, man, because he survived on the first one. I guess that's what caused the outrage seekers. I don't even know, something like that, man. That they even had to make like a drastic move like that, bro. I tell you, man, when I watch these videos, I'm just like you guys. I'm a fellow seeker, man, just seeking the truth.
Videos are about to be muted in the next few hours, and it is going to change the app significantly. If you didn't know, TikTok pays music publishers a fee that allows you to use music on your videos for free. But now the second largest music publisher in the world, Universal Music Group, has refused to extend their contract with TikTok, and it expires on January the 31st at midnight. And they wrote a massive, pretty angry statement basically calling TikTok cheap, saying TikTok is trying to build a music-based business without paying fair value for the music. They also said that TikTok is allowing the platform to be flooded with AI-generated recordings, which is nothing short of sponsoring artist replacement by AI. TikTok then clapped back with their own statement, saying Universal Group has put their own greed above the interest of their own artists and songwriters, and that TikTok has been able to reach artist-first agreements with every other record label and publisher, saying clearly their actions are self-serving and are not in the best interest of their artists, songwriters, and fans. I don't know if you can tell, but this is basically a lawyer's rap battle. Now, what this means for you and the app going forward is that if you made any videos with music from their artists, which is a bloody long list, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Drake, BTS, Ariana Grande, Olivia Rodrigo, Eminem, SZA, Ye, Justin Bieber, and the list goes on and on and on. Your videos will likely be muted and will not go on the For You page. And what it means for the app, well, TikTok does have other partnerships, but they will lose a huge chunk of what makes TikTok TikTok. But the question is, what's the one trending sound that you hope is part of this removal?
That's actually freaking crazy, bro. It's like two freaking corporates just freaking arguing over money, man, and you get to see how that affects everybody else, the small people. They just thinking about themselves, man, but they're not really thinking about, I guess, the small people, how it's gonna affect their freaking accounts. Like, what happened to like music reviews and stuff like that? Is this all just gonna get muted, Seekers? Tell you, man. But when it comes to money, bro, nobody thinks straight, Seekers. Nobody.
I've been in the game for a long time, more than 70 probably.
I mean, I'll have to ask you, what was the most violent thing you've done yourself?
I was taking 2 recruits to do a task that was given to us. These recruits obviously were new, they didn't know what they were doing. They got nervous, they came back into the car and they told me that the people that were there were armed. We pull up near this person, and this person is obviously a rival. The person in the back seat, I was driving, the person in the back seat pulled out a rifle and shot him. He missed the shot, but injured him on the leg. At this moment, the rifle jammed. The recruit was panicking. I jumped out of the car, took the rifle, busted the bullet out, and cocked it back in, and I shot him again. This person was still agonizing, trying to drag himself through the pavement. The rifle jammed again, so I basically went up to him and smashed him with the butt of the rifle until his head exploded, and that was it.
So calm about it.
Obviously, there's more things that I've done but I'm not willing to discuss at the moment.
One of the most freaking dangerous freaking people ever, bro. Just see like how freaking calm. He just talking about it like it's just everyday conversation. Like he just didn't freaking end somebody, bro. In the most brutal way too, Seekers. Damn, what do we go into people's heads when they be doing that stuff, bro? I'm gonna have to find some more interviews, I guess, with him, bro. I guess I'm talking to them as a cartel or something. Insane Seekers, bro.
This 18-year-old killed a mother and her daughter while street racing. So this is Cameron Herron. You probably know his story by now. In 2018, he was just a normal 18-year-old kid. At the time of the accident, Cameron was producing content for YouTube, was going to school, and on the day of the crash, he decided that he and his brother Tristan were going to race. So Cameron had a lifelong love of cars, and so he and his brother would always race, and he and his friends would race. But on that day, he reached a speed of 162 miles an hour in his car. Damn. And that's when he careened into Jessica and Lilia, a mother and daughter who were crossing the street. Jessica was actually wheeling her daughter across the street when Cameron struck them both with his vehicle. So tragically, on that day, David, Jessica's husband and Lilia's father, was driving home from work when he passed by a huge accident. He said to himself, wow, that must have been a bad accident. He went home, but when he got home, he noticed that his wife and daughter weren't there. So he got back in his vehicle, went out searching for them, and when he returned and passed by the scene of that accident, he noticed the stroller that was sitting on the side of the road. He recognized that that stroller belonged to his family. They owned one just like that. And shortly afterwards, he discovered that the victims of that horrific crash were his own wife and daughter, who were now dead. So Cameron was obviously arrested. He was eventually sentenced to 24 years in prison. And shockingly, afterwards, people have made thirst accounts dedicated to Cameron. The actual hashtag Cameron Herron on TikTok itself has billions of views. And people have been idolizing this guy. His own parents have said in news articles that they get calls at all times of the day to their home from people from countries all over the world, specifically a lot of people from the Middle East, calling to see how their son is doing. But yeah, this is just a tragic story all around. David lost his wife and daughter, his entire family, due to one idiot's reckless decision to go 162 miles an hour down a normal road. And in prison, Cameron Herron is going to be there for a very long time. So his entire adult life is pretty much gone, vanished before he could even be, you know, the legal age to drink an alcoholic drink.
Let's talk about the most
It's freaking insane, bro. There's like billions of freaking They said his name on freaking TikTok got freaking billions of views, bro. And people were like actually idolizing him, man, and calling him like they have no idea like what he did to that guy's freaking family, bro. So I said, man, seekers, when you don't even try to like straight race, do stuff like that, man, because you just never know what can happen, bro. The car can get out of control, and the freaking unthinkable can happen, man. That's why you never do that, bro. But the thing that's getting to me is, bro, how they say all these people calling them to ask to see how son of his jail doing, bro. I'm like, they're not gonna call the actual father to see how he's doing, bro. Like how his whole life was freaking changed, bro, ruined off of one action, bro. We need more sympathy seekers, bro. For people that go through things.
And children's book in the 1990s, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Guys, they did this book so dirty, I need to tell you about it. And if you guys don't know, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a children's horror book that was written by Alvin Schwartz and illustrated by Stephen Gamma. But these books compiled a bunch of folklore stories, accompanied by really creepy drawings, like this one. But these drawings unfortunately led to the book being in the top 10 most banned books in the 1990s. That's because parents deemed the book to have inappropriate and violent themes. The book started being pulled off of school shelves, leading to a drawing redesign in 2011 by another artist named Brett Hillquist, leading the drawings to be dramatically changed, and basically no hate to that artist, but not scary at all. Examples include the dream going from this to this, the haunted house going from this to this, Harold, one of the most popular stories, going from this to this, the red spot going from this to this, as well as so many others.
What are they covering?
Like that's not okay. I'm sorry, that's not okay. And this, of course, led to multiple resellers selling the book with the original drawings at very high prices. Fans were so disappointed until 2017 when this was released. The books finally got republished with the original drawings. But unfortunately, these don't have the original covers, which is okay. I feel like most fans just wanted, like, the drawings back. And I'll be honest, I feel like this only happened because 2 years later, there was a film adaptation by Guillermo del Toro, and this re-release literally says, soon to be a motion picture. Personally, I don't think the book should have been banned at all. But if this was terrifying, then just close the book. But what do you guys think? Do you think this book should have been banned? Yes or no? Well, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Seekers, what do you guys think, man? So that book had been banned, bro? Then, like they said, they tried to bring it back and water it down, try to change the images. But then it's like, they brought it back, bro, just because the freaking picture, just because the movie is coming out, man. So you know they did it for the money, bro. I be trying to tell you, bro. It's like, it's right there in our faces, bro. There's money involved, bro. They do not care. It still should have been banned if they freaking banned it the first time, but they brought it back for some extra money. Like, Seekers, I want to know you guys also that should they have banned the book or it shouldn't have never been changed.
Search teams have located the missing 4-year-old child with autism who went missing in Barber County. They found Phoenix Wilkerson, who before today was last seen Friday afternoon on Sid Bush Road in Clayton. Officials say Phoenix Wilkerson was found by a group of search canines and then was taken to a hospital where he's now being looked at by medical personnel. It is unknown at this time the condition of Wilkerson.
I think they found him. Oh, he found him. He's a hero. Give him clap, Seekers. What's he doing in the forest? You guys saying when he's freaking circled his feet, but they were like clean. So I'm like, what the hell? How did he get in the forest, bro? There was like his freaking feet were clean, bottom was clean. Did someone like drop him off there? Was he with somebody? Or did he just wander in there? Seekers. I mean, deep dive into that case, bro.
Jurors on this case were so haunted by the crime that they needed trauma therapy. In March 2018, 38-year-old Veronica Youngblood from Virginia was arrested. On the night in question, she had given her daughters gummies laced with a sleeping aid. Her daughters were 5-year-old Brooklyn and 15-year-old Sharon. The mother of two then shot both of her daughters. Horrifically, Sharon did not instantly die. She was actually able to ring police and explain to them that her mum had shot them both. When jurors on the case were played this 911 call, they were so distressed that they actually needed therapy. The teenager was taken to hospital where she sadly passed away. It transpired that Veronica had called her ex-husband after the killings and told him that she hated him. She also told him what she'd done. It's believed that her motive for this hideous crime was revenge over him. He'd actually been planning to move away to Missouri with Brooklyn the following weekend. Following her trial, Veronica was sentenced to 78 years in prison.
A missing North Carolina.
Like, bro, do you know how freaking chilling a case has to be, bro? Like, the freaking list of the jurors, they need actual therapy after hearing that freaking call seekers, man. All because she couldn't let the freaking past relationship go, or dated from jealousy or revenge or something like that, but to take it out on your own kids, bro. Just to get revenge over your ex, man. That's not right, seekers, bro. Like I said, bro, this world can be an evil place, man. Ooh. That audio, bro, freaking haunted those jurors forever, bro.
Atlanta teenager was just found hidden under a trap door in this man's home in a completely different state. And what he has to say about it is horrifying.
She hid on her own free will. She was actually in the bed when the officers first come in there. Her grandma kicked her out. She didn't appear to be that age. She had all kinds of piercings.
In December, a 16-year-old girl left her grandparents' home in North Carolina after a fight and disappeared. She was officially reported missing on December 6th, and her grandparents feared the worst. But what they didn't know was that 3 weeks prior to her disappearance, a 34-year-old man named Zachary Jones found the girl online and started talking to her. And he actually lured her from her home after the fight with her grandparents. Zachary then drove the girl all the way back to his home in Lincoln County, Kentucky, where he repeatedly sexually assaulted her and gave her drugs. Fast forward to Christmas Day. Zachary's mom called 911 to report a domestic violence incident between Zachary and who she thought was his girlfriend. And when police arrived at the home, he said the girl was not there. He was quickly cuffed and placed in the back of a cop car after authorities found drugs in the home. And when they went back inside to search for the girl, they found something incredibly disturbing. Locked inside of a trap door, hidden under a rug in Zachary's bedroom, was a young girl who authorities say appeared very high. After investigating, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office realized that the young girl was reported missing nearly a month prior out of North Carolina. According to the girl, whose name has not been released, she said that Zachary initially told her that he was 19 online, but when she met up with him in North Carolina, he looked much older. It was there that he said he was 25, and it wasn't until they got all the way back to his home that she found out that he was actually 34. The girl said that Zachary was always armed with a gun and that he forced her to tell his family that she was 18. He also threatened to kill her many times and proceeded to sexually assault her and give her drugs, sometimes even strangling her during the assaults. When the girl was rescued, Zachary denied choking her and said that she hid in the trap door on her own free will. But the girl had very visible marks on her neck that proved otherwise. The victim also said that on their drive back to his house, they were pulled over by a cop, and Zachary told her that he would shoot the officer if they were asked to get out of the car. Zachary was arrested and is being held at the Pulaski County Jail, while the girl was taken to the hospital for treatment and was reunited with her grandparents. In an interview from jail, Zachary admitted to all of it, but said that she told him that she was 18. He said that she didn't look to be 16 as she had all sorts of piercings, and that he was helping her after her grandparents kicked her out, which was not true. Zachary is facing 30 different charges in just Kentucky, but he's also facing more charges in North Carolina as well. He's being held without bond, and judging by his lack of remorse, I truly hope that he never gets out, because this story is absolutely terrifying.
It is.
These are the worst of the worst videos on the internet explained, and today we're starting with Funky Town. Before I begin, never look this video up. This is a massive trigger warning. The video begins in some sort of room and music is playing. The first song that plays is Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses. And the camera pans to the victim on the floor with plastic wire. And the torture had already began before the video started. Because the victim looks like he's already been through complete brutality. His hands have already been cut off and his face has been completely flayed, which means skinned. There is no skin on the victim's face at all, and his eyes have been gouged out. And there is an insane amount of blood all on the floor. But the most messed up part about this is that the victim is hooked up to some sort of IV, and the IV is pumping him with drugs to keep him alive. And completely aware, making sure he feels everything that is happening to him. At the start of the video, they try and slit his throat with a farming sickle and press it against his jaw. But when the victim begins to scream, they shove a box cutter in his mouth to shut him up. His screams are absolutely gut-turning. They kept going from screams to gurgling, from screams to gurgling. As the video progresses, they take the box cutter and slit his throat about 40 times. And keep in mind, the victim is still alive and aware of everything because of the drugs they are giving him to keep him alive. Also, the cartel members are mocking and laughing at the victim the entire time. They then continue to try and slit his throat with the box cutter and were going at his neck numerous times. All while the song Funky Town was playing in the background, hence the name of the video. The cartel members kept having to physically restrain the victim, meaning that there was still a lot of life left in him. And the amount of pain he had to be in is completely unimaginable. At one point in the video, a cartel member has his foot on his chest holding him down, and another time they shoved a pole in his mouth holding him in place. But the worst part about the video is towards the end, where the victim manages to loosen his arms from the restraints and immediately tries to touch his face. But remember, the victim has no hands to feel, no face at all, and no eyes to see. The victim was most likely in so much shock that he likely forgot he had no hands, but instinctively the victim still tries to touch his face. It's absolutely horrifying, and the video then concludes. Also, keep in mind, the victim was still alive when the video ended, so who knows what else they did to him before he died. Because they were just keeping him alive to torture him. What makes Funky Town so horrifying, besides what happens in the video, is the mystery behind the video. We don't know the victim's name, we don't know why he was being tortured this way, or what he did. The only thing that we do know is that it took place in Mexico, and it's extremely horrifying to watch. You can make an argument that nobody has ever been tortured this bad in history. Funky Town is definitely one of the worst videos out there, and I don't recommend watching it ever. But to start off this series, Funky Town has the first spot.
I don't, bro. I never look up those videos, man, what that guy says, bro. You know, some people can have the guts too, but I guess I'm just not one of the seekers. You seekers, that's it for this video for you guys today, man. If you guys stay with me to the end, I really appreciate that, man. You seeking the truth just like you, so you're a true seeker for staying through to the end, man. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, man, hit that post notification bell, guys. I'm trying to do these daily uploads for you guys, man. Like I said, I'm always trying to upgrade my freaking content, always trying to make it the best it possibly can be. So tell me if you guys want me to do anything better. Like I said, I know y'all guys talking about the audio and stuff like that. I do plan on fixing that and other stuff, but it's gonna come, seekers. So to stay with me, man. You guys can catch in the next one. I'm out. Peace, seekers.